Alright, you guys, we're going ahead and get started. Say Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High, Ahaya. Tonight's lesson, we're going to get some information on patience. Tonight's lesson will be called Patience. And after tonight's lesson, we'll go back into some more detailed information on the event on May 15th, bringing Brother Bronze down here. So if anybody have any questions or anything they would like to add to that, make sure you write it down or something so you don't forget it, and we'll talk about it at the end of the lesson. But we'll go ahead and get started. So tonight's lesson is called Patience. Give them the Webster definition for patience.
We have patience, and it is the suffering of afflictions.
So go slow so they can get this. So patience is the suffering of afflictions. Go ahead.
Pain, toil, calamity, provocation, or other evil, with a calm, unruffled temper, endurance without murmuring or fretfulness.
So patience is the suffering of afflictions, pain, toil, calamity, provocation. So like someone provoking you, provocation or other evil, with a calm, unruffled temper, endurance without murmuring or fretfulness. Okay, so let's break down the first parts of this. So it says patience is the suffering of afflictions. So give them the definition of afflictions.
We have affliction, and it is the state of being afflicted, a state of pain, distress, or grief.
So affliction is the state of pain, distress, or grief. All right, let's go to Job 5 and 6. So the word patience is the suffering of afflictions, pain, toil, calamity, someone provoking you to do evil, endurance. All right, and now we're going to go into the affliction part of the patience, which is a state of pain, distress, or grief. Job 5 and 6. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Job, chapter 5, verse 6. And it reads, although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doeth trouble spring out of the ground, yet man is born unto trouble, as the sparks fly upward.
So it says we are born into trouble. Trouble don't come from the dust. Affliction don't come from the dust. Trouble don't come from the ground. It don't come for you where you're residing or anything like that. No, we are born into trouble. That's what it says in verse 7. Yet man is born unto trouble. Give them the Hebrew breakdown for affliction in verse 6.
We have affliction. It is H205. Affliction is H205. And it is Awan, A-W-A-N, Awan, and it is to pant, hence to exert oneself, usually in vain, to come to naught, strictly nothingness, also trouble, vanity, wickedness, specifically an idol, affliction, evil, false, idol, iniquity, mischief, mourners.
So affliction, the Hebrew definition for affliction is nothingness, also trouble, vain, vanity, wickedness, evil, false, iniquity, mischief. So like I said, we are born into affliction. We are born into trouble. So this is why we need patience. you're surrounded by vanity. So that's why we're going to go into the precepts on patience, a few precepts on patience, because you are born into trouble and affliction. It's all around you. So you need patience to be able to work yourself around it on a daily basis. Let's go to Job 14:1. And if you don't have patience, it's going to swallow you up. It's going to swallow you up. No matter what you do and how hard you try to fight it, it's going to swallow you up if you don't have patience. In the world we live in today, man, you got to have superb patience because there's so much going on. Just within work, family, everything. Job 14:1.
We in the book of Job, chapter 14, verse 1. And it reads, Man that is born of a woman is of few days and full of trouble.
So it says a man that's born of a woman, few days later is already full of trouble. Why is that? Because of the world we live in. There's already so much evil going on. Your spirit is already brought into a world that is full of trouble. All right? Your spirit is already born into a world where you already have idols. You have everything going on. So a man that is born a woman is of a few days and already full of trouble. So it don't take long for your spirit to be hindered with the trouble in the world. Let's go to Psalms 34:17. So that's why patience is the key tonight. Tonight's lesson is called Patience, so we can learn how to deal with things. All right, you know, you get it. Your spirit gets around certain people and certain individuals, and your patience gets tried quick. All right, and not even just around people, just things that happens on an everyday basis. Your patience gets tried. Now you're battling with the flesh and battling with the spirit, and you don't know what to do. All right, Psalms 34:17. Go ahead.
We in the book of Psalms, chapter 34, verse 17. And it reads, The righteous cry, and the Most High heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. The Most High is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite mind. Spirit.
So it says that the righteous cry. So they cry out to the Most High. They pray out to the Most High, and He hears them. And He delivers them out of their trouble. So remember, we're already born into trouble. So now once you find the Most High and you cry unto Him, you pray unto Him, it says the Most High is nigh unto them that are broken heart. Nigh means near. The Most High is near to them that are broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite spirit. Break down the word contrite.
We have contrite. It is H1793. Contrite is H1793. And we have Daka. Daka. And it is DAKA. DAKA. And it is crushed.
So a contrite means crushed, which means a humble spirit. That's what contrite means. Crushed, which means a humble spirit. So verse 18 says, And the Most High is near unto them, nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saveth such as be of a contrite, be of a humble spirit. So He saves the people that has the humble spirit, the people that can get through all this madness. Verse 19.
Verse 19. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Most High delivereth him out of them all.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Most High delivered him out of them all. What does that mean? So the righteous people go through pain, distress. What is affliction? We broke down the word affliction already. Affliction is the state of being afflicted, a state of pain, a state of distress, and a state of grief. All right, and verse 19 says, Many are the afflictions of the righteous. So the righteous people go through pain, they go through distress, They go through grief. Okay? So that's how you know a righteous person, because they're going through a lot. But if you stay patient, Ahia will deliver you out of all of it. That pain, that distress, that grief. So don't get mad when you're going through some stuff and you got pain all the time, you got grief. You're like, man, this is getting rough. The Most High says his righteous people are going through that. Many are the affliction of the righteous, but the Most High delivered him out of them all. James 1:1. So don't get mad when you're going through some things. A lot of people don't know, they don't know how to take it when they're going through some things and things just ain't always on the up and up. They complain about it. They stress on it, and that's not what the Most High wants us to do. So that's why tonight we're going to go over some precepts on how to handle these situations and how to stay upbeat. That way, in the end day, the Most High Ahia can deliver you, because he can say, hey, you dealt with that just right. You dealt with that the way I asked you to deal with it. You didn't get bent out of shape. You knew how to handle that. All right, James 1:1.
In the book of James, chapter 1, verse 1. And it reads, James, a servant of the Most High, and of our power, Yeshua the Messiah, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Read.
So it says, James, a servant of Ahia, and of our power, Yeshua the Messiah, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. So right here, so many people tell you that the 12 tribes of Israel don't matter. Why is James sitting here talking to the 12 tribes of Israel almost at the end of the Bible? James is only like 6 books away from the end of the Bible, and he's sitting here talking to the 12 tribes of Israel, telling them, hey, greeting to you. What does the word greeting mean?
We have greeting, G5463. Greeting is G5463, and it is to be full of cheer. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
That is calmly.
Give him the word, though. Give him the word.
We have Cairo. Greeting is Cairo. Chairo. Cairo. And it is to be full of cheer. That is calmly happy or well off. Be glad. Godspeed. Greeting. Hail joyfully. Rejoice.
So greeting means rejoice, basically. Okay? And James 1:1 says, James, a servant of Ahia and of the power, Yeshua Messiah, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, rejoice. So he's telling the 12 tribes, you've been scattered abroad, rejoice. Verse 2, why is he asking us to rejoice? Verse 2.
Verse 2, it says, my brother, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations.
So this is why he wants us to rejoice, because he says, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into diverse temptations. All right? Count means consider. That's what count means right here. So my brother, consider it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations. But he started off in verse 1, rejoice. Okay? No matter what happens, rejoice. Break down fall into.
We have fall into, and it is G4045. Fall into is G4045. And we have Peripito. And it is Peripipito. Peripito. Peripipito. And it is to fall into something that is all around, that is light among or upon, be surrounded with.
So fall into means be surrounded with. So James 1:2 says, my brethren, count it all joy, consider it all joy when ye fall, when you be surrounded by divers temptations. Break down divers.
We have diverse, and it is G4164. Diverse is G4164, and it is Poikilos, 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 and it is motley, that is various in character.
So motley, that is various in character. Give the Webster for motley.
We have motley, it says variegated in color, consisting of different colors.
So the word motley means different. Alright? And that's what diverse means. Diverse means different. Okay? So when James 1 and 2 says, "My brethren, consider it all joy when ye be surrounded with different temptations." Many temptations are going to come. Different types of temptations are going to come. And it says, consider it with joy. Be joyful. All right? Don't let it get you down. Okay? Break down temptations.
We have temptations. It is G3986. Temptations is G3986. And we have Berasmus, and it is Peirasmos, Erasmus, and it is by implication adversity.
So temptations is adversity. My brethren, consider it all joy when ye be surrounded with different adversity. Okay? So it's telling you right here, when you fall into adversity, have joy. Alright? Count your blessings. When different adversities start hitting you, have joy. Count your blessings. And not focus on the adversity that you're going through at that time, but have patience. But you got to have patience to be able to count the blessings versus focusing on the adversary. That's where the patience kick in at. It's easy for somebody to say, "Man, I'm going through a lot," and be negative. But it's hard to have patience and say, "You know what? It's all good. I'm going to focus on the good things that's happened to me in the past." Okay? Break down adversity. Webster.
We have adversity coming from the Webster. And it is an event or a series of events.
Read it again.
Adversity is an event or a series of events which oppose success or desire, misfortune, calamity, affliction, distress, state of unhappiness.
So adversity is an event or series of events. So when everything seems like it's going wrong, right? And every time you think everything's, you think, hey, it's getting better, and then stuff just starts going wrong again. Then boom, you get hit with something else again. Don't let it break you down. You know what I'm saying? Instead of letting it break you down, rejoice. And like Brother Brun say, that's when you got to start exercising your patience. You got to start exercising and working that patience, because you're going to get hit with adversity. You're going to get hit with many series of events. Many things are going to continue to come. All right? And why are these events going to come? Because Psalms 34:19 says, "Many are the afflictions of the righteous." So if you consider yourself a righteous individual in the name of Ahia, many events are going to come and get you, just like it did Yeshaya when he was in the flesh. When he was in the flesh, many events, many different adversities came at this man. And he was able to fight them off because of what? His patience and his faith. He didn't let it get him down. If he would have let that stuff get him down, he would have never became the author of eternal salvation. But he exercised his patience every time something happened, and he was able to keep the faith in Ahia. Let's go to Matthew 5 and 10. So when that adversity hits, them different events, they're going to come. I promise you. And especially if you call yourself a righteous individual, or a just man, or a virtuous woman in Ahia, those events are going to come. Flat tire in 110 degrees. You know? They're just going to pop up out of nowhere. You can be like, are you serious? But what? Are you gonna get out the car and start cussing and start going crazy because you just had a flat? No, you gonna exercise that patience. You're gonna take a minute. All right. Thank the Most High for the event, because you never know. He probably gave you that flat tire on that freeway because miles and miles up the road could be a big old accident and you would have been a part of it. So you have to understand the reasoning on why he do everything and how he do it. Okay? You might not understand it, but at the end of the day, when you realize it and you work on your patience and say thank you, then you might, hey, you know what? It was a reason why I had that flat in 110 degrees. I'm gonna go ahead and fix it, and I'm gonna be happy. As I'm fixing it, I'm a happy dude. I'm a happy lady. However, whoever it is. Matthew 5 and 10. Yep, go ahead.
We in the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 10. And it reads, Blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
So it says the people that are persecuted for righteousness' sake, the kingdom of heaven is theirs. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Rejoice and be exceeding glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. Ye are the salt of the earth. But if the salt have lost his Savior, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men.
So it says the prophets before you, they were persecuted. Just like Yeshua, he was before us, he was persecuted. And it says you are the salt of the earth. And if you lose your Savior, wherewith shall it be salt? You're no good if you lose your Savior. All right, verse 14.
Verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
So we are the light of the world. So no matter what, Ahia has already made us the light of the hill. So just because the man of this world, they come and trot us down, they persecute us, doesn't mean nothing. They try to hide us. They try to do whatever they can to put their foot on our necks, put us in caves. But he says, you are the light of the world. And a city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. We're like a city that's set on a hill. They can see us from everywhere. But they try to do whatever they can to persecute us. We are the salt of the earth. But if you lose your Savior, so if you lose your faith, you're good for nothing. That's what he's basically saying in us. And our faith is through who? Yeshua. Can't lose your faith. You always got to keep the faith. No matter what they do, they're going to persecute you day in, day out. The evil is going to come to you. Verse 11 says, and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my name, for my sake. For Yeshua's sake, so the true people that's following the Bible the right way, you're going to be persecuted. All right, and they're going to say falsely things against you, no matter what. You know, they're going to try to bring you down. Try to bring that evil spirit on you. And once you get that evil spirit in you and you start doing bad because people's talking about you, people doing you wrong, then you lose that faith, which loses the patience. 1 Peter 4 and 12. So that's why we got to be very careful. We got to be very careful with who we deal with, who we're around. That way, you know, if you're around the right people and people start attacking you, now you can turn to your brother, you can turn to your sister, and they'll help pick you up because they know the right things to say, the right things to do. Okay? It's not going to be an easy road, you guys, and that's why I tell you all the time, if you say you're a true child of the Most High, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough everywhere you go. All right? People are going to look at you funny. People are going to say bad things about you. But if you go places and nobody's picking on you and nobody's staring at you crazy and nobody's asking you crazy questions, then I don't know, you might want to retrace your steps, because you might not be the child of the Most High. The child of the Most High is going to be persecuted. So if you're not being persecuted when you go places, family members asking you, you're going through a change, and they see you going through a change. And so instead of them asking you, hey, I see you going through a change, you're changing for the better, and I'm happy for you. Nah. If you got family members that's coming at you like, what's wrong with you? I see you changing. Are you in a cult? All right, what you going through? I see they asking all these crazy things about you. Now you know you're on the right track. But if you're not getting asked those questions, then it's something you're doing wrong. And that's just real talk. Go ahead.
We're in the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verse 12. And it reads, Beloved, think it not to strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you.
So it says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. So don't think when you're going through these things, it's something strange. When you start going through some problems and you're having problems, don't think it's strange and think it's weird. No, it's supposed to happen. This is what you're supposed to go through. The Most High is going to try us all, and He's going to put you on trial to see what you do. So when you start going through things, don't start questioning, well, why am I going through this? I don't understand this. If I was a child of the Most High, I wouldn't be going through this. No. If you are a child of the Most High, you are going to go through this. So that's why it says, as though some strange thing happened to you. So don't think some strange thing is happening to you. Break down fiery trial.
We have fiery trial, and it is G4451. Fiery trial is G4451, and it is Purosis. We have Purosis, 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 and it is ignition, that is specifically smelting, figuratively conflagration, calamity as a test.
So we'll go with calamity as a test. So fiery trial, fiery trial, some people might say fiery. Calamity as a test. Break down the word calamity.
We have calamity, and it is any great misfortune or cause of misery, generally applied to events or disasters which produce extensive evils.
So calamity is any great misfortune. So we're talking about these events as adversities. So any great misfortune or cause of misery, generally applied to events or disasters which produce extensive evils. All right. So things that brings evil into the play. All right. You're doing good, and all of a sudden there goes some type of evil, calamity. But it says the fiery trial is calamity as a test. Misfortunes, which is a test. So it tells you that. So when misfortune things happen, it's a test. That's what it's saying right here. The trial and tribulations that you're going through is now working your patience. So when you have something misfortune going on and it ain't going the way you want it to go, it's a test. It's a test to see how you react. It's a test on your patience to see if you're going to stay in the realm of the spirit and act according to how Ahaya wants you to act, or if you're going to get out of line and start acting ignorant the way Satan wants you to act. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon in Apocrypha. And we'll go to chapter 3, verse 1. So so when these misfortunate events start happening, you can't let it take you out of the spirit of Ahaya. Alright? You can't let it take you out of the spirit of Rawak, the spirit of Yeshaya, which is the church. You can't let the body, you can't let these events take you out of there, and before you know it, zero patience. Alright? Go ahead.
We in the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3, verse 1. And it reads, But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them.
So the souls of the righteous, so when we're in the flesh, we're going to be persecuted. The righteous people, you're going to be persecuted in the flesh by man. Alright? But it says, but no torment shall touch them. So that means in the end days, eternal life won't touch the righteous man. But in the flesh, you're going to get touched day and night by man. You're going to get persecuted. But in the end day, no torment will touch them. Verse 2.
Verse 2. In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken from Israel, and they're going from us to be utter destruction. But they are in peace.
So it says you're in peace no matter what the people on this earth think. The people on the earth, the unwise people, they think you die. In the sight of the unwise, they seem to die. They're nothing. And their departure is taken for misery. But the Most High says we're going to be in peace. Verse 4.
Verse 4. For though they be punished in the sight of men.
So we getting punished. Our adversity, our calamity that's happening here in the earth, we're being punished in the sight of man. Man is punishing us in every way possible. They're punishing us through these religions. They're punishing us through work, hard labor. They're punishing us through everything. Everything you can think of. So verse 4 says, for though they be punished in the sight of man. Go ahead.
We're in verse 4. In the middle of verse 4 it says, yet is their hope full of immortality, and having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them, and found them worthy for himself.
How did he prove them? Go ahead.
As gold in the furnace hath he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering.
So it says in verse 5, and having been a little chastised, so they going through some things, they shall be greatly rewarded. So you're going to be greatly rewarded at the end of all of this for going through what you're going through in the flesh. All right. And what you go through, why was you going through it? You was going through it because it says, for a higher proved them. He was testing you. He was testing you to see how you were going to react. So a higher proved them and found them worthy for himself. So when you're getting tested with all these problems and adversaries and calamity, and you stay calm and you do right and you pass the test, now the Most High says, well done, my saint. But if you one of them people that break down every time something bad happens and you just start crying and you start throwing things and you get mad at the kids or you get mad at your wife, or Most High looking at you like, what the heck is wrong with you? I ain't teaching that. What kind of spirit is that? Why? Because he's trying us like gold in the fire, in the furnace. Verse 6 says, as gold in the furnace had he tried them, and received them as a burnt offering. So once he received us in the end days for salvation, you're going to be like a burnt offering because you've been tried so much in the flesh, you have now become a burnt offering. You've been tried like gold in the fire. Okay? 1 Peter 4:13. So going through some things is actually pretty good for you. It teaches you what? How to run and obey the Most High. When you're going through all these things, it might not seem fair to you, but if you do right, it teaches you how to run to him. If you was never going through nothing, you don't got nobody to run to. That's why he tells you being rich is the root of all evil. Because if I'm rich, I don't really got no problems. I got everything I want. But when you got bills that are due, they staring at you in the face. Got 2 days to pay the bills. You have zero money. Now you're a week behind on bills. Instead of stressing, have some patience and say, you know what? Thank you, Ahaya. I thank you for teaching me how to be patient in all of this. I know you're going to come through for me. But if you're one of those people that's going crazy, you're going everywhere trying to get loans, and they telling you no, and then you get madder and madder. The Most High is like, listen, you're not learning nothing. I'm trying to teach you something here. And you ain't even holding still for 1 second to even see what the punishment is that I'm trying to do to you. I'm doing something to you here. I want you to sit down and learn this. 1 Peter 4:13.
We're in the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verse 13. And it reads, but rejoice Inasmuch as ye are partakers of Messiah's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy.
Write down partakers.
We have partakers, it is 2841. Excuse me, G2841. Partakers is G2841. And it is koinoneo. Koinoneo. It is KOINONEO. Koinoneo. And it is to share with others.
To share with others. So to share. So verse 13 says, but rejoice in as much as ye are partakers of the Messiah's suffering. So we are sharing the sufferings of the Messiah. The Messiah suffered much when he was in the flesh, but now that he's gone, guess who took over that suffering? Us. Somebody had to take it over. They hated him. They did much things to him. They killed him off. So now that he's gone, they got to pick on somebody else now. So it's us. So we getting the same sufferings that he went through. So the Most High is going to put you through some things. He did it to Yeshua. When Yeshua was here, he put his own son through some things. So we're all going to be tried like gold in the fire, the same way the Messiah was. Verse 14.
We're in the book of 1 Peter, chapter 4, verse 14. And it reads, if ye be reproached for the name of Yeshua, happy are ye. For the Spirit of glory and of the Most High resteth upon you. On their part he is evil spoken of, but on your part he is glorified.
So it's so many precepts in here that tells us to be happy. All right, this precept says to be happy. Verse 13 says, be glad also with exceeding joy. So it's telling us in every precept right here, no matter what you're going through, you keep that happy smile. No matter what you're going through, you be joyful. Okay? You have to understand, the depression is an evil spirit. And when you get depressed and you get down and out, that's Satan. That's Satan's gotten into you, whether you want to believe it or not. People think I got to be out there killing somebody or breaking into something or be doing a lot of damage, and that's Satan. No. Satan can be this little calm spirit that gets in you and bring you down and out, make you depressed, make you think about things that ain't even happening. So many people do that. Majority of the world, if not 9 out of 10 people, they stress about things that haven't even happened yet. They're looking into the future, and the future ain't even came yet. And you're like, what are you stressing over? Something that hasn't even came yet? You're stressing over bills that ain't even made it to your plate yet? And that's not how we're supposed to be. Alright? That's why the Most High says, hey, I'm going to take care of you no matter what. All you to worry about is food and clothing. Okay? Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. All right, let's go to it. Let's go. What is I think it's Matthew 6 and 30. 31. Go to Matthew 6 and 31. So many people worry about the future, and by them worrying about the future, it stresses them out. Worrying about things that need to be done 2 weeks from now, and it starts bringing them down because they don't see it happening. Well, I don't know. I got 2 weeks to get this done. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. And so every day that goes by, they get more and more run. They get more and more stressful stage. Instead of leaving that alone and saying, you know what, that's 2 weeks from now. I got faith in the Most High. By the time that time comes, I know He's gonna have it already worked out for me. I'm good. That goes that patience and that faith right there. You're working on it, exercising it 2 weeks in advance. But people don't know how to do that. Read it.
In the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 31. And it reads, therefore, take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High, and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow.
Don't think about tomorrow. Go ahead.
For the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof.
So it tells you don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about next week. Don't think about the end of the month. It's going to take care of itself. All right. It says the Gentiles, this is what they do. The Gentiles has taught you how to worry about bills that are months away. The Gentiles have taught you how to stress like this. It says the only thing you should be worrying about is it says, therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat? What shall we drink? What shall we wear? All right, don't worry about that. He's going to take care of you. Verse 33 says, but seek first the kingdom. So every morning you wake up, you should be seeking the kingdom, not seeking what's going to happen in 2 weeks. You might not even be around in 2 weeks. That's the purpose of all this. You might not even be around at the end of the month. And it's mid-month and you're sitting there stressing about bills at the end of the month, stressing yourself to death. And then all of a sudden you do die. And guess where you're going? To the left. Because you died in a sin, which is stress. You're stressing, and then you die, and then you go to the left. Now that ain't worth it. So why don't you wake up every morning and seek the kingdom first? Okay? And it says, and if you seek the kingdom first, and his righteousness, and seek the righteousness of Ahiah, and all these things shall be added unto you. So as long as you wake up and seek Ahiah and the kingdom first, then he'll take care of your needs. He'll make sure the end of the month that stuff is taken care of. But if you're waking up every morning seeking your thoughts first and your feelings, I heard so many people say it too. Well, you know what? Right now I got bills due and I can't think about Ahiah. I can't think about the Most High. These bills are due and I'm stressed and that's what I got to worry about. Are you for real? All right then. Well, I'm gonna get away from you then. That way that spirit don't rub off on me. It don't jump into me. What's the name of that movie with Denzel? Falling. That way I don't have to worry about them spirits, because you got to understand, when you're around certain individuals that have that type of vibe and that type of spirit, before you know it, you'll be in that same mood also. Go back to verse 14, 1 Peter 4:14.
In the book of 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 14, and it says, and it reads, if ye be reproached for the name of Yeshua, happy are ye, for the Spirit of glory and the Most High resteth upon you. On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified.
Break down reproach.
We have reproach. It is G3679. Reproached is G3679. And we have onetizo. Onetizo. Oneidezo. Onetizo. And it's to defame. That is real act. Chide. Taunt.
We'll stick with taunt. So reproached. Alright, we'll go with taunt. Break down the word taunt.
We have taunt. It is to reproach with severe or insulting words.
So when someone's taunting, it's a reproach with severe or insulting words. So in verse 14 it says, if ye be reproached for the name of the Messiah. So if you be taunted, alright, for the name of the Messiah, and we have that all day long. Alright. So it says, if ye be reproached for the name of the Messiah, happy are ye. So you should be happy. You should be happy when somebody's taunting you and insulting you with crazy words because you got Dimitri on or you got a long dress on with your head wrapped, and somebody's taunting you and talking crazy about you. Says you should be happy. For the spirit of glory and of hire rested upon you. On their part, he is evil spoken of. So people are going to speak evil of him. But on your part, he is glorified. So you glorify him no matter what. Even if people are speaking evil, you glorify him. All right, go to John 5 and 18. 15 and 18. So we glorify Ahia through Yeshaya every moment we get. No matter who we're around, no matter what we're doing, we glorify him. But every moment they get, they're going to taunt. All right? And now that he's gone, they're going to taunt you. Okay? Go ahead.
We're in the book of St. John, chapter 15, verse 18. And it reads, if the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. If ye were of the world will love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you.
So the Messiah says, I have chosen you out of this world. So now that we found the Messiah and we're walking in his ways, we've been chosen out of the world. We no longer are part of the world. See, before you find this truth and start following his words, you're part of the world. But now that he's come to you and shined that light and you woke up, he's chosen you out of the world. See, everybody's not going to get that bright light. Everybody's not going to get that bright light to wake up. So that means they wasn't chosen. But anybody that's gotten that bright light and they're not walking in his ways, they have been chosen out of the world. And now that you've been chosen out of the world, they hate you. Okay, but it starts off by saying, if the world hates you, you know it hated me before it hated you. So if you're being taunted and if you're being hated on, the Messiah says, hey, they did it to me also. So good, you're on the right track. Verse 20.
We're in the book of St. John, chapter 15, verse 20, and it reads, remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his power. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also.
So if they're taunting you and keeping your saying, that means they're not believing nothing you saying. Every time you try to bring a word to them in this truth, you're being taunted. They're talking smack to you. So they're keeping your saying because they're not letting it ride. So he says, hey, if they persecuted me, they're going to persecute you also. And if they kept my saying, if they didn't believe what I said, they're not going to believe what you said. Okay? And that's what we're going through. All right? That's why majority of the people you go talk to, friends and family, you go try to give them this truth, they looking at you like you're crazy. They don't want to hear it. And you know the crazy thing about it is, you guys, you can talk to friends and family until you blue in the face, and it ain't going to happen. And you can go talk to a Gentile. I have better luck talking to a so-called white man. And at least he'll listen to me. He might not believe the stuff that's coming out of my mouth, but at least he will give me the opportunity to speak. I can go to my own people, and they the moment you start talking about certain things, they shut you down real quick. It's done. They want to do everything they can to prove you wrong. But the Gentile, the so-called white man, at least he'll acknowledge and say, okay, what you got to say? He'll give me a chance. Now, will he but hearken to it and believe it? Probably not. And that's the thing. That's what we need from our people. Our people don't have the patience. Israel don't have the patience. So when somebody tries to go to them and give them the word and talk to them, they don't even have the patience to sit there and listen to it. They are already fed up by the time they hear 30 seconds of what the spiel is. And that's why the world was made for many, and the new world will only a few be chosen, because don't nobody have the patience to hear the words that are coming from the King James Bible. Break down the word patience again.
We have patience, and it is the suffering of afflictions, pain, toil, calamity, provocation, or other evil, with a calm, unruffled temper, endurance without murmuring or fretfulness.
So patience, the suffering of afflictions, pain, toil. Break down the word toil.
We have toil, and it is to labor, to work, to exert strength with pain and fatigue of body or mind, particularly of the body, with efforts of some continuance or duration.
So toil means to labor, to work, to exert strength with pain and fatigue. So fatigue comes into the body when you labor. All right? With some efforts of some continuance or duration. So for a long time. So somebody that works for a long time and you start getting fatigued. And it says mind or body, particularly the body. All right? This is where some patience got to kick in at, because America's done what? They work you to the bone. All right, people who got jobs and they work in overtime. Over the last few years, over the last 5 years, they now have what's called mandatory overtime. I've never heard of mandatory overtime when I was growing up. When I was growing up and I first started working, you had overtime, and it was it was an option. If I wanted to pick up some overtime, then that was cool. But now you have a lot of companies that has what's called mandatory overtime. And when you sign up for the job, they tell you sometimes we have mandatory overtime, and when we announce it, you gotta do an extra 2 hours a day. And if you don't, you can lose your job. So through labor, that's where a lot of people lose their patience through work. You know what I'm saying? A hard, long day at work, it fatigues them out. And for the rest of the day, that kind of drains them through their household, through everything they do, to where they have short patience for the rest of the day on everything else they do. So now they're snapping at the kids. They might go home and talk to the wife, snap on the wife. And it's all becoming because of the fatigued body of the hard labor at work, the toil that they're going through. But that's just Satan again also. He's going to try to get at your spirit in so many ways. So they have you working to fatigue you out, to bring your spirit down to where it don't operate on the high level that it should. Let's go to Romans 5:3. So even with work, you got to have patience. Even through the hard, long day of work, you might not like it, you hate it, but you got to keep the patience to where it don't affect your spirit and other things you do throughout the day. Okay, because it's easy. Listen, it's easy to go to work, you be there all day long, and then you come home and you take it out on your spouse, or you take it out on the kids, or you take it out on a friend or somebody, and before you know it, a few days went by, and you're like, dang, I shouldn't have act like that with such and such. Well, what made you act like that? The toil on the body. Go ahead.
Read the book of Romans, chapter 5, verse 3. And it reads, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience experience, and experience hope.
So patience is experience, and experience hope. Hope is faith. So we got to keep the faith through it all, but it starts with the patience. And it says, and not only so, but we glory in tribulations also. So when your trials and tribulations come, you gotta glory, you gotta stay happy, knowing that tribulations worketh patience. So every time you're going through these tribulations, it's just working your patience. That's why I said earlier, like Brother Brun said, when you're going through this stuff, now you gotta start exercising that patience. You gotta start working that patience. I think one of his songs, he said, his patience is on a treadmill. I want to say he said in that working on my patience song, say he puts his patience on the treadmill. He puts it to work because it's going to get put to the test. It is. And when it gets put to the test, you want your patience to already be worked out to where it's ready for every situation. And that's how we got to be, you guys, on everyday basis. Break down patience again. Read it again. The definition.
We have patience, and it is the suffering of affliction, pain, toil, calamity, provocation, or other evil.
So now give the Webster for provocation.
We have provocation, and it is anything that excites anger, the cause of resentment.
So provocation is anything that excites your spirit to anger. Anything that brings your spirit to anger. Okay? Provocation. So guess what Satan's job is? Satan is here to provoke you. Okay? And how does Satan provoke you? He uses the world to break you down in so many forms. So through the world, through your daily events, Satan uses the world to provoke you. Starting with work, like we just broke down. He uses work to break you down, to provoke you, make you mad, to make you lose your patience. Sometimes your friends. You might be around some friends that might provoke you in a way to where they might start talking stupid or crazy to you. That's going to provoke you to anger. Family. Kids. So Satan, he's here to provoke you through the world, like I say, and through all these forms. Work, friends, family, kids. And he wants you to feel down. Satan wants you down. He hates seeing this joy that we're reading about tonight. All this joy and this happy and all these precepts. Satan don't want that. Satan wants you to feel down. Every time he looks up, he wants to know that you are in a down mode. He wants to, because that down spirit is what? An evil spirit. And once you're down and out, you start losing faith. And once you start losing faith, then your belief system does this. Now you don't have that belief in nothing now. Now everything just starts going wrong. And you'll never come out of it. And now once you don't have the belief system, you got one person that's getting pretty teed off. Go to Numbers 14:11 or higher. He's like, man, that belief system, you don't have belief? After all the things I've done for y'all don't have no belief? So that's just Satan coming in on a daily basis, using the world through different events to bring you down. And it works. Trust me, you guys, in the flesh, listen, you like I tell you guys all the time, you can be on your way 2 months straight doing good, and then next you know, Satan got you feeling down for a week and a half straight. And you don't know what's wrong. You're like, man, I'm in the Bible, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to, but Satan got all these problems. All these problems is just running me, so now I'm feeling down. Instead of you realizing that the problems is a test. The Most High is now trying you to see if you're going to stay patient and if you're going to keep an upbeat spirit, or if you're going to cash out and go Satan route and feel down and out and bring the evil spirit in and lose your faith to where your belief system is now tapped out. 14 and 11, Numbers.
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 14, verse 11. And it reads, And the Most High said unto Moses, How long will this people provoke me?
Question mark.
And how long will it be they believe me?
No, read it.
Ere they believe me.
Means not. How long will they not believe me? Go ahead.
For all the signs which I have shewed among them.
So the Most High said unto Moses, how long will these people provoke me? How are they provoking the Most High? Because they don't believe in him. They don't have no belief. So now that's provoking the Most High. That's teeing him off, because he's looking down and saying, how long y'all gonna provoke me? And how can you not believe in me after I done showed you all these different signs, after I done did all these different things for you? And now you don't believe in me? You don't have no faith? So don't let Satan provoke you into anger. Don't let Satan provoke you to where you feel down, because once he does that, now you're provoking the Most High when your belief system goes down. Most High don't like that. Alright? Read patience one more time.
We have patience, and it is the suffering of affliction, pain, toil, calamity, provocation, or other evil, with a calm, unruffled temper, endurance, without murmuring or fretfulness.
Alright, so let's break down endurance.
We have endurance, and it is continuance, a state of lasting or duration.
So you got to be able to last. You got to be able to last all these problems. There's all this adversity, all this calamity. You got to be able to last. These are the people that's going to be saved, that can get through all these problems and not break down. Go ahead.
It says we're in the middle of endurance, and it is a bearing or suffering, a continuing under pain or distress without resistance.
So when you're going through pain, when you're going through distress, you have to continue. You can't stop and dwell on it and get depressed and break down. You have to continue through the distress and pain. Last part.
We're in the end of endurance, and it says, or without sinking or yielding to the pressure.
Don't fall to the wayside. So it says, or without sinking or yielding to the pressure. So don't fall to the pressure. And don't give it resistance. When something has happened, it says, and continuing under pain or distress with resistance. So don't give resistance. When you're going through some things, take it like a champ. Say thank you to the Most High. Don't resist it, and keep joy. Don't let it sink you. Don't let it yield you under pressure. Okay? So now we got to break the endurance. James 1 and 12. Now we got to break out the endurance. We got to have endurance through all these problems. We got to be able to fight. You got to stay like a soldier. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you guys, you're not going to make it. If you got this going on in your life right now and your patience is thin and your patience runs short, and you one of those people that let problems get to you, and these problems bring you into the flesh and make you act a certain way, you're not going to make it. That's easier said than done. I don't care how much you study. I don't care how much you give your time to the Most High. But if you don't have patience when these problems come upon you, you're not going to make it. James 1 and 12.
Book of James, chapter 1, verse 12. And it reads, blessed is the man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Most High hath promised to them that love him.
So blessed is a man that endured temptation. Blessed is a man that lasts temptation. Alright? For when he is tried, so when he is tried with the adversity, when he is tried with all these different events, and he lasts these events, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Most High had promised to them that loved him. So the Most High promised to us, if you can take on these events like my son did, you will receive the crown of life. But if you can't take on these events, and these events take you out, you're not going to make it. Let's go to Sirach 2 and 1. So pull out the Apocrypha. Once again, Sirach 2 and 1. So we have to be able to last, you guys. We have to be able to say, okay, look it in the eye, put the armor of the Most High on, and take on these events. Take on these events. Don't let the events take you on. Alright? If you want to be received into the kingdom, if you want to receive your crown of life, you have to endure the temptations of this world, which is the evil of this world. Sirach 2 and 1. Or Ecclesiasticus, whatever you have in your Apocrypha. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Sirach, book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2, verse 1. And it reads, my son, If thou come to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation.
So if you say you are a righteous man or a just man or a virtuous woman, you have to prepare your soul from temptation. It's coming. You can't be that individual like, well, I found the Most High, so I don't have to deal with problems no more. No. That's why I tell you guys all the time, the moment you wake up to this truth and you find the Most High, Satan is going to, not only is Satan going to come after you, he is going to go get 7 of his buddies and they're going to come knocking at your door every day trying to bring you back to Satan's world. Read it again.
Book of Sirach, chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, My son, if thou come to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright, and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble.
So don't give up in time of trouble. Alright? Constantly endure. So when the temptation comes, you got to constantly endure. You got to constantly go through these things. Alright? You're going to go through some pains, but you got to last. You got to keep outlasting the problem. So the problem comes, you got to outlast the problem. Don't make haste to quit. Don't quit in the time of trouble. Verse 3.
Verse 3. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
So here we go again. So whatsoever is brought upon you. So if you lose your job, okay, you don't got no gas money, things are just looking bad. Whatever is brought upon you, take cheerfully. Be happy. Keep a happy state. Just because I don't have no gas money or I don't have a job, I'm not going to get down and out. And then everybody I talk to be like, what's wrong with you, brother? Man, you know, it's just all bad. People should never even know you're going through something because you're so cheerful. And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So when the Most High brings you down to a lower state, things are going really bad. You're almost poor. Things are just, you can't pay for nothing. You can't do nothing. Be happy. Verse 5.
Verse 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity.
So it says, because gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men, which is righteous men, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversaries. Adversity. So when you're going through adversities, you're in the furnace. You're in the furnace like the gold. The gold is in the furnace when it's being tried. And now you're in the furnace when you're going through adversaries. Adversities. That's what it just said. Verse 6.
Verse 6. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him.
So as long as you trust in the Most High and you keep your belief in him, he's going to order the way right. So that's why when we just read a few minutes ago in Numbers 14:11, he says, listen, y'all lost belief? After all the signs I done showed this world, how can y'all provoke me now because of your belief system? So that's why your belief system has to stay high at all times. No matter what you're going through, it's going to get tough. The belief has to stay correct. That's Satan. When things are going wrong and then you like, man, I don't have no confidence that this is going to work. That's Satan. That's Satan coming in there speaking that little sweet nothings into your ear, telling you that's not going to work. But the Most High says, listen, no matter what, when I'm trying you and you're going through trial, you on trial. It's just like an individual that goes to court and he's on trial and he has a 2-week trial. If the first day of trial, the second day of trial, he starts having belief that they're going to lock him up, guess what? He's going to get locked up. But if an individual's on trial in the first few days, he's like, you know what? I'm not scared of these people. I got confidence. And he keep going with that confidence. You never know the Most High going to take him out of that. So the same thing when you're going through adversity, which is once your adversity hits, you're now in the furnace like the gold. That's how you got to look at it. The moment all the adversity hits, now you can say, hey, I'm in the furnace. I'm being browned up. And and once I come out of that adversity and I endure, now the Most High accepts me a little more. Every time I endure the adversity, he brings me back out of the furnace and says, okay, that looks good. All right, looking better. And then a few weeks later, he puts you back in there and says, I got to golden them up a little more. And you last, and you bring it back out and say, okay, that's acceptable. And before you know it, you're going to be that nice burnt gold that he like, and he's going to sit you to the side and say salvation is unto you. But if you're an individual, every time he puts you in the furnace, you might, ouch, 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 that burns, that hurts. So you're going crazy, and you got excuses on why you can't be in the furnace. Eventually, he's going to take you out and throw you out. Like, give me next on to the next piece. Get that piece out of here. I'm wasting too much time on that piece. 2 Thessalonians 3 and 5. So when you getting burnt, that's how you got to look at it. All the adversity, all the series of events that's happening to you, just look at it as, hey, I'm being burnt right now. I'm in the furnace, and I'm being burnt. How long can I last this fire that the Most High has me under? And if you endure the fire until he takes you back out of the furnace, now you're on your way. But guess what? That's not going to be the only time he's going to put you in the furnace. So you got to have patience and thick enough skin to know that sooner or later he's going to put me back in the furnace. And the next time might be a little longer than the first time. Go ahead.
We're in the book of 2 Thessalonians, chapter 3, verse 5, and it reads, "And the Most High direct your hearts into the love of the Most High, and into the patient waiting for Yeshua."
So while he's taking you through all these problems, while you're going through all these things, he's directing your hearts into the love of him. That's all he's doing. Every time he's trying you with all these adversities and all these problems, he's turning your heart more and more into his ways to show you how to love him. This is how he makes you. This is how you become acceptable to him, because he continues to put you through all these things. And he said, okay, you're learning more, and now you love me even more. After I put you through all that, you love me even more. So now it's showing you the patience, waiting for Yeshua to come back. Luke 21 and 15. So you have to understand, through all these problems, all Ahia is doing is just showing you the guidance and his route to bring you closer and closer to him. That's it. Don't be one of those people that say, well, you know, if I've heard, I used to have this old timer, one of my friends that used to come by and check me out a couple days a week, and when he come by, I would sit down and he would just talk about problems. He's like 65 years old, maybe 50, late 50s, and he would always be going through something. His name was RD. I'd be like, hey, RD, what's up, brother? Man, Ed, man. And I try to give him some scriptures. Man, well, if God loved me, I wouldn't be going through all this. We're like, well, nah, brother, you got it backwards, you know? And, you know, that's how a lot of old people think, though. You know what I mean? They think that a lot of old people have been taught, if you follow, they call him God, if you follow God the right way, you're never going to have, you shouldn't have no problems. But it's the opposite. If you're following the higher the right way, you're going to have tons of problems. Luke 21 and 15. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 15. And it reads, "For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren, and kinsfolk, and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death."
So hold on, we're gonna read that part again because people don't understand who's bringing in the problems. Verse 15 says, "For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist." So all the wisdom that the Most High is going to give into you, that your adversaries, okay, which is the devil, they're not going to be able to resist. Okay? And it says, which all your adversaries, who is your adversaries? Read 16. It's going to tell you who your adversaries are. Verse 16. These are all your adversaries.
We're in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 16, and it reads, "And ye shall be betrayed both by parents,
Adversaries.
and brother,
Adversaries.
and kinsfolk,
Adversaries.
and friends.
Adversaries.
And some of you they shall cause to be put to death. And they shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But there shall not an hair of your head perish. In your patience possess ye your soul."
So just because you're hated for my name's sake, I'm not gonna let a hair of your head be touched. They could betray you all they want, but you won't be touched. Remember, he says you will not see torment. And it says in verse 19, in your patience possesses ye your souls. So through your patience, this is what is going to get you to the kingdom. You got to understand how important the word patience is and how important it is in your life. If you don't have it, and if it's out of control, and if you're one of those people that fly off the handle and you don't have the patience, it's going to be a tough road. And that's why I wanted to talk about this, so people can realize how important it is to be patient, and how important it is to accept your problems. That's real important to the Most High when he puts you through some things, not to give up and lose belief and go crazy and start talking stupid. No, when he puts you through some things, he wants you to accept it and be happy. And now that shows patience, and it possesses ye your souls. All right, Romans 15:4. So, like I say all the time, I know it's easier said than done. And that's why we come together as a group, and that's why we go over these precepts, because I know it's easy to get in the flesh, and I know it's easy to get brought down. So that's why in 19 it says, in your patience possesses ye your soul. The word possess right there means acquire, obtain. All right, so your patience obtains ye your soul. Romans 15:4. Purchase. Go ahead.
We in the book of Romans.
Actually, go. Listen, that's a good point out. Go back to Luke 21:19, you guys. We're gonna break down possess. Go back to Luke 21:19. Read it for him again.
We in the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 19, and it reads, in your patience possess ye your soul.
All right, give him the breakdown of possesses.
We have possess, and it is G29:32. Possess is G39:22, and it is katamio, katami, and it is KTAOMAI, katami, KTAOMAI, and we have that is acquired by any means, own, obtain, possess, provide, purchase.
Purchase. So possess, purchase. In your patience possesses. In your patience purchase ye your souls. So through your patience, this is what's going to purchase your soul. This is what is going to get your soul through the gates. It's through your patience. Almost as if the blood of Yeshua, who came to redeem you back from sins, he purchased you from sins. And now that he purchased you from sins, your patience purchased ye your souls through the gates. All right, now that Yeshua did his part, you got to do your part through patience. Romans 15:4.
We in the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. And it reads, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. Now the Most High of patience and consolation grant you to be like-minded one toward another, according to Yeshua the Messiah.
So it tells you right here that for whatsoever things were written aforetimes were written for our learning, which is the Bible. It was written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope, might have faith. That's what hope is. So through the scriptures, it teaches you patience. And through the scriptures, it teaches you hope, which is faith. So that's why you got to stick dear to the scripts. But you got to let the scripts work. You can't read the scripts. You can't be down and out and then go read the scripts And then when you're done reading the scripts 20 minutes later, you still feel the same. Gotta let the scripts work. Don't go read the scripts and then you know you're gonna still feel the same afterwards. That's a waste of time. Don't do that to yourself. Alright? Colossians 1 and 11. So you gotta let the scripts is here for your learning. The scripts will teach you. So if you're having a hard time with patience and you're doing wrong, you go read the scripts. The scripts is here for your learning. It will teach you how to change out of that mood. It will teach you that what you're doing at that point in time is after Satan. That's what the teaching is. Let the teaching work. Go ahead.
One of the Colossians, chapter 1, verse 11. And it reads, strengthened with all might, according to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness.
All right, Hebrews 10 and 35. We got about 5 minutes left. So it says, strengthened with all might. So this is where you get your strength from. Strengthened with all might according to his glorious power, unto all patience and long suffering with joyfulness. So not only is patience going to get you the likings of Ahia, but it's going to build strength in you. Why? Because it's teaching you some things through all the adversary and through all the calamity. Now, once you learn through all these different events, you're going through things, and you make it out of it, you endure, then you go through something again, and now you endure. Now it's strengthening you. It's strengthening your spirit. It's making your spirit stronger and stronger every time you go through something real tough. Go ahead.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 35, and it reads, cast not away therefore your confidence, which has great recompense of reward.
So you need the confidence also. So when you're going through some stuff, don't get rid of your confidence. Have faith. Have confidence that you're going to be all right. Go ahead.
Verse 36, for ye have need of patience, that after ye have done the will of the Most High, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come, and will not tarry. Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe of the saving of the soul.
So you always got to have belief. When these series of events come, you can't let Satan draw you back into his world. And this is the main point of tonight. This is the main point of tonight's lesson. There's a lot of people go through some things and they go through some series of events and then they get drawn back into the flesh, which is through Satan. And the Most High says, I have no pleasure in that. You can't be one of those people that goes back and forth. You can't be one of those people when something happens, then you draw back into the flesh and you deal with it, and then you try to come running back and get in the spirit and be like, I'm cool now. After a while, the Most High is going to cut you off. So when something comes up, you have to stay in the spirit, stay happy, stay focused. Don't get drawn back into the flesh to where you're down and out for a couple of days or a few hours, even if it's for a few hours. And then after those few days, you're like, okay, I'm cool again. Now the Most High is going to keep looking at you like, are you bipolar or something? I don't need that. Most High needs somebody that has belief and that stays strong. He don't want somebody that's falling back. Okay? He has no pleasure in them. But it says at the end of 39, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul. So as long as you believe, that's going to be the saving of the soul. Hebrews 2 and 1. So don't be one of those people when times get rough, you fall off, get depressed, go into a world of evil, do bad things, talk bad things, and then the moment things start looking good again, now you're good. Most High don't need that individual. He wants somebody that can deal with it. He wants somebody that's going to be the same individual when they're doing good. It's the same individual when they're doing bad. That's what Ahia wants. Go ahead.
In the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 1. And it reads, therefore we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard.
So pay attention to the things you have heard. The things you read in these scriptures, the things that I'm showing you guys, take more earnest heed to the things which you have heard. Go ahead.
Lest at any time we should let them slip. For if the word spoken by angels was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just recompense of reward.
So earnest heed. So it says, take earnest heed to the things which ye have heard, lest any time it shall slip. So pay attention. That's basically what earnest heed means. Pay attention to the things which you have heard. Follow them. Verse 2. For if the word spoken by the angel was steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience receive a just recompense of reward. Verse 3.
Verse 3. How shall we escape if we neglect so great salvation, which at the first began to be spoken by the Most High, and was confirmed unto us by them that heard him?
How can you neglect salvation? By not having no patience. How can you neglect salvation? By losing the faith. Your belief system does this. That's neglecting salvation. Revelations 14 and 12. Don't be that individual that don't realize. See, a lot of people don't realize what they do. When they have those moments where they get down and out, or they get a little depressed, or they have the moments where they have a moment where the faith goes out the door and their patience goes out the door, they don't realize that one little moment is the moment where a higher might let something happen to you. And if something happens to you, you're not going to make it. And that's why we got to work so hard to stay on top of our game, because you don't know the time or the hour when he's going to come and take you from this world. And you can lose your patience one day and start acting crazy and get into it with somebody and get into a scramble or something and get killed. It could just happen that fast, you guys. Because patience can do a lot to you. Patience can end you up in a fight. Patience can end you up getting fired at work. You can lose your patience at work and your boss will be like, what's wrong with you today? And you just going off the handle, fired. So losing your patience can do a lot of different things to you. Patience can lead you to divorce. All right, husband and wife, all of a sudden somebody's impatient on something and they lose their patience on something, and next you know there's a big old argument going on. And before you know it, they divorce. It can do a lot to you, to your household. It can do a lot to your life. Revelations 14 and 12.
Book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 12. And it reads, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High, and the faith of Yeshua. And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, write, blessed are the dead which die in the Most High from henceforth. Yet, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labor, and their works do follow them.
Alright, so it says, if you have patience and you follow the commandments of the Most High, blessed are the dead which die in the name of the Most High. So you will be blessed when you die in the name of the Most High and you keep the patience. You will rest from your labors, and the works will follow you. The works will follow you means the things that you did in the flesh on this earth will follow you. Alright, it's going to take you right to the kingdom. So with the recap on this lesson tonight, like I said earlier, there are so many things that are going to draw you out of your spirit to take away your patience. Listen, as much as I like to say I study, Satan's been trying to knock on my patience the last couple of weeks. Been bringing certain things to me, and I'm like, it don't make sense. Certain things have been happening. I'm looking at it like, are you serious? Satan been trying to come rattle me up a little bit. I'm like, is this dude serious? I'm like, man, I gotta tell Satan all the time, get behind me, man. You know a higher is up here, bro. So no matter who you is, he's going to continue to come. Satan is. And he's going to try to take you out of that realm, especially if you're doing good, especially if you've been due diligent to the Most High. You're taking your time every day to give to him. You're building that hedge for your family. Satan's going to always continue to try to come in and break that. And that's why we have to be strong as individuals. We have to be very strong. And then be strong as a group. And that's why you guys, you notice the last few weeks I've been talking about the group a lot, because we have to become stronger as a group. And then that way, when we see an individual losing patience or an individual doing bad, we can help build that individual up. Because, ladies and gents, these scriptures are for real. And if our brothers and our sisters keep backsliding on a lot of these scriptures, the Most High is not going to accept them. As much as we talk about the laws and the commandments, if we got brothers and sisters in the groups that's not following the laws and commandments and they're doing them their way, they're not going to be accepted. I don't care, you guys. I don't care how much we love the individual or how much we spend time with them. If you're not following the words of the Most High, and if you only follow 6 out of the 10 commandments, and then if you only follow some of his laws, but then you read another law, you're like, well, I don't like the way that law sounds, so I'm not going to follow that. You're not going to make it. And that's why we all got to stick together, because we can be examples for one another. If we see the next brother doing something the right way, then after a while we can say, you know what? I can see why he's doing that. And it's in the scripture. You know what? I need to do that too. Same with the sisters. We have to find a way to follow each other in a way to where we benefit off of each other. Stop finding ways to despise one another and find a way to say, hey, I can do that too. Thanks for changing that, brothers, because now I'm going to change it. I see the change and I see why you changed it. Now I'm going to do it. But it starts with patience, you guys. All right? And as long as we can keep patience, then from there on we can work on everything else. So with that in mind, we'll say all praises to the Most High Ahaya. Shabbat Shalom